Welcome back to Former Fat Guy Fitness. Now, if there's one thing on this channel that I could teach anyone after my 100-pound weight loss, it would be to show you how cheap and how easy it is to make your own fat-free Greek yogurt. Whether it's for baking, cooking, making sauces, or just enjoying with fruit, Greek yogurt is something I go through constantly, and I have since the start of my health journey. However, when I started my health journey, I was going through Fage non-fat Greek yogurt, and it's good stuff. It's got great macros. Its price is just garbage. It's $6 a quart for this stuff. So let me show you how I pay $1 per quart of yogurt versus $6 per quart of yogurt, and I do it with homemade stuff, and I do it extremely easily. Let's get started. To get started, you're going to need some basic equipment. First, you're going to need a cheesecloth, a strainer, and a large bowl to strain everything once it's all said and done. You're going to need a thermometer to check its temperature as it's going. You're going to need your 1 gallon of fat-free milk, or your milk of choosing. If you want to go full fat, you can, but for the macros that we're shooting for, we're going for fat-free. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt to act as the starter cultures. This is what will turn it from milk into yogurt once it's all done with the boiling. And then afterwards, you're going to need a 2-quart container to put everything in when everything's said and done. Also, to cook it, I would highly recommend an instapot. I use the Ninja Foodi, but you can also use a regular pot. I will tell you how to use a regular pot. Just when I do it, I use an instapot. This thing's a lifesaver. Anyway, let's grab our milk and get started on the yogurt. Now, like I said, this is the easiest recipe that I make, and I make it 4 to 5 times a month. It's so easy. All you have to do, take your gallon of milk, open it up, set your Instapot to the yogurt setting. I usually set it to 12. That indicates the hours that it's going to ferment, but you can change that later. It's no worries. Just pop this bad boy open, dump it in, and once it's done, you close it and hit the start button. It'll boil it to 180 degrees. That'll take about an hour, and then it'll call you back for the next step. Now, like I said, if you don't have an Instapot of any kind, all you need is just to take a pot, put it on your stovetop, pour the milk in, and let that boil to 180 degrees. That's where your thermometer will come in. I still use this to check my Instapot just because I like to make sure, but if you don't have an Instapot, pour your milk in a pot, boil it to 180 degrees, and then come back in a minute for step 2 when this thing beeps at me. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so the Ninja beeped at me, which means it's letting me know that it got to 180 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is done boiling. As you can see, it says cool. It's going to try to get itself down to 110 degrees. So whether you're using an Instapot or a regular pot on the stove, now its goal is to get down to 110 degrees. If I let the Ninja just do its thing, it's going to take about 4 to 5 hours. So for a set it and forget it kind of deal, it works really nice. But if you want to speed it up, I open it and let it air out. That'll speed it up naturally. Or if you want to make it go even faster, which I'm going to do for this video, I'm going to pull out the pot, set it in the sink, and run some cold water. But I just want to check what its temperature's at real quick, because you don't want to go below 105 degrees, but you do need to get it under 110 degrees. Otherwise, it's going to kill all the cultures in your Greek yogurt. So right now, it's sitting at about 135. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this pot. It's not too hot. You can get it with your hands right now. Pop it in the sink here. And without getting any water in the pot, I'm going to just run some cool water along the outside of it. Now, you can do the same exact thing with a regular pot too, but this recipe is the exact reason why I bought the Ninja Foodi. Just with the saving off Fage yogurt alone, if I make yogurt 4 to 5 times a month, that means I make 10 quarts in a month. I'm saving $5 a quart. That's $50 a month. So in 3 months, I paid for the Ninja Foodi just with savings on yogurt alone. So if you want to get a Ninja Foodi or any other tools I'm using in this recipe, check the link in the description below. Check it out on Amazon. It really does help out. So I'm going to let this run until it gets to about 110. Then I'll pop it back over here and we'll do the stirring in the final part before it ferments. Alright, so we've got the pot back in the Instapot here, and I will double check the temperature just because you don't want to kill the cultures. Let's see here. And we're sitting right at 108 degrees, it looks like. 108, 109, but yep, we're under 110, and that's the rule. Just get it under 110, and it won't kill your cultures. So the next step is the last step before a 12-hour fermenting process. Just take your 1/4 cup of yogurt here, just scoop it on in. This part doesn't have to be exact. You're really just trying to get the cultures out of this yogurt and put it in the new yogurt, or what will be your new yogurt. Do that there. Make sure you use a plastic or a silicone whisk of some kind. Don't use metal in the Instapot. It will damage it if you do that. And then just give it a good stir for a quick minute here until it's all incorporated. Once you're done, we'll close the lid. We'll set this for 12. Once you take the pot out and put it in there, this thing turned itself off, so you just turn your yogurt back on, switch it from yogurt to FER for ferment. And if you're using a regular pot, you can take a pot, cover it, put it in the oven, and turn your oven light on. Just set it in the back of the oven, and that'll work for a ferment too. At least that's what I read online, but every time I do yogurt, I make sure I use the Instapot because it's a set it and forget it kind of deal. I usually don't pull it out and do a water rinse. I usually just let it run its steps, run its process, where I don't have to think about it and I don't have to do anything. But for those who don't have an Instapot, I wanted you to be able to know how to do it. So we will pull that out. We will cover this. We will start the ferment. Push that thing back. And we will see that guy at 6:15 a.m. tomorrow. And that's when I will see you next. So have a good evening, aka 2 seconds to the next clip. Good morning. I just crawled out of bed, enjoying the pre-workout before the walk and the workout for the day, and the yogurt has fermented. So for the last step, all we have to do is take the finished Greek yogurt, take it, pour it into your cheesecloth and strainer. I usually take a little spatula and get the last little bit in there, because if I'm going to calculate macros in something, I might as well get every last little bit of it. But I'll put this in the strainer, and then I'll take a spatula here and I'll just kind of mix it around, get it a little bit more smooth, and do that. But the last step is to put it in here, put it in the fridge for at least 6 to 8 hours. But what I'm going to do is go to work for the day, let it sit all day long, because the longer you let it sit, the thicker it will get and the more that whey will strain out. And then once I get home, I'll take this out and pop it into my 2-quart container. Now, as far as the calories and macros go, I calculated the milk and the yogurt that was put into the pot initially, and then once everything's all said and done, you subtract out the whey that's left in the bowl down here, because this bowl will be filled with an entire thing of liquid whey, which is essentially pure carbohydrate. So you take the milk and the yogurt that went into the pot, you subtract the whey out that gets put out of it, and I'll put the nutritional value for the whey up on screen somewhere here. And then whatever you have left remaining is the nutritional value of your Greek yogurt. Now, if you don't want to calculate your nutritional value of your Greek yogurt each time, the average that I did for the first 10 times, so I didn't have to calculate it every single time, for 170 gram serving of my Greek yogurt, it's about 92 calories, 0 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbohydrates, and 13 grams of protein. So while it doesn't have the 18 grams of protein that Fage Greek yogurt has, it's still $5 cheaper per quart, it's homemade, and in my opinion, it tastes way better. If you want to see more recipes on how I use this, whether for baking, cooking, or the next video I'm planning, which is some salad dressings, some ranch, some Italian dressings, some Thousand Island, all much lower calorie than the stuff you get in the store, subscribe, like, and comment if you have any other recipe ideas that you want. In the meantime, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.